You're on, Leah.
Welcome everyone to our Friday afternoon X39 Patching Podcast Testimonial Call. I'm coming to you live from Houston, Texas. My beautiful co-host Laura Balzer is in Sarasota, Florida. Welcome to all of our guests from across the world. We're excited to have you. As Laura said, we've got some amazing testimonials this afternoon. Two gals that I've had the pleasure to get to know over the last 12 months have some amazing stories to tell. So I say, let's just jump right into that. It's Friday afternoon. We want to get everyone this great information and let everyone get about the rest of their weekend. So I'm going to go ahead and read the disclaimer. We'll go ahead and get that out of the way. All LifeWave products are not intended to cure, treat, diagnose, or prevent any diseases. If you're pregnant or nursing or on any kind of medications or any other supplementations, please consult with your physician first. Our patching podcasts are strictly for educational purposes only. So with that, I say, let's get started. I want to bring on Andrea first. Welcome, girl. We're excited you are here to share with us. So tell us a little bit about what your life was like before, who introduced you to the patches, and what life is like for you now.
Well, I found out about the patches from my good friend, Dr. Stacy. She told me about them last year, and I guess it was maybe May or June. And well, actually, she sent me something in the mail. She asked for my mailing address, and I didn't even ask her what she was sending me. I was just like, oh my gosh, my friend's gonna send me something in the mail. And when I got them, I'm like, Stacy, I got them in the mail. And she's like, put them on, girl. And I'm like, yes. And I did. I put them on right away. Like, I was so excited. And I'm like, what are these? I'm like, I hope these will help me with my elbow, because my elbow's been hurting for about 4 months, because my son and I were doing strength training. He's in football, and I was just trying to get in shape, and I injured my elbow, and I noticed a difference probably within 3 or 4 days that started feeling better. It wasn't until like 4 months later after that it completely healed. I would say maybe October-ish. And it's when I was at the grocery store, and I lifted up a big case of water, and I was just like so surprised. I was like, I just lifted this heavy case of water right now. And that's when I noticed it was completely healed. But the very first time that I really noticed something was after the first night, because I had the best sleep of my life. And I didn't even realize that I was missing so much sleep, because usually I would get up 3 to 4 times a night, because I'm on high blood pressure medicine and it makes you go to the restroom. So I slept the whole night through that night. And I told her right away, I'm like, Stacy, I slept the whole night through. I cannot believe this. And she's like, that's fabulous. And I started ordering the X39 and using them, because I couldn't wait to, of course, get my elbow healed and find out what else it could do for me, because she says it reverses your age. And I just thought that was, so awesome. So I also ordered the Aeon and the Alavida right away, and those really helped with different things too that I experienced. One thing was with the Aeon, when I added the Aeon to the X39, is I used to have irregular menstrual cycles where they would last sometimes 3 weeks at a time, very heavy. And I was really sick. Like I went to the doctor, I went to several doctors, no one could help me. They tried so many things. They wanted to do a blood transfusion, and I was so scared of that, but they ended up putting me on iron pills, and those made me sick. They tried birth control pills. They gave me cramps. I didn't stay on that very long. I went to an irologist. Jody, is that how you pronounce it? An irologist? I think so. And it's like a healer. I went to a health food store, had an appointment and sat with them a couple times. And I tried everything trying to get help with this. And sometimes I would even, miss months. So I didn't know what was going on with me. And after about 4 months of consistently every day, 12 hours on, 12 hours off, wearing the X39, and then at night I would switch it up with the Aeon. It like I believe it was a 3 months later after adding the Aeon is when I started noticing that it was just evening out, and now I have regular menstrual cycles. I mean, I haven't missed. It's just been on time.
That's awesome.
And that was a huge thing for me because I had suffered with that for over 10 years.
Wow.
And
that is so amazing that your system balanced out in 3 months. That's huge for us as women, because we all know how frustrating that can be, right? Now, did your son have an injury as well? I think I remember there were pictures maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he had a couple injuries. He injured his arms. The coach wanted him to do like 200 push-ups, and I tried to get those pictures to you, but that's okay, next time. And I put the Aeon and carnosine and the X39 on his arms, and that was our first experience, or my son's first experience. And then he turned his ankle, and I sent you pictures of his ankle. He turned his ankle at football, and he couldn't even walk on it, and he was so upset that he couldn't participate in football.
I'm going to show these pictures, you guys, and I'm going to keep talking so you can actually see it. But this is before she started to put the patches. I mean, look at that. That is incredible. I mean, that hurts. I mean, that's incredible.
Yes, that happened on a Wednesday. And then I immediately, when he came home, I immediately put the Aeon, the carnosine, and the X39 on there. And I have pictures of that too, with the patches on him. And then by that Sunday, he was able to walk on it again without pain.
So was this picture right here, y'all, sorry for the glare. Was this picture right here that Sunday with just a bruise?
Yes, that was from Sunday.
And then this last one that you sent with your cute little dog in here.
Yes.
How long after he started patching that it went totally down?
That was about a week later.
Wow.
It was about 6 to 7 days later. And
Wow.
he was able to return back playing football again.
That's huge.
That's so huge. You guys, in my past life, Leah's a trainer now. You do not see healing like that with these kids in high school when they hurt themselves. You don't see healing like that with anybody. And to be able to get him back on the field that quickly, because that's his livelihood. He loves that. It makes him happy, right?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. I mean, that's huge. That's huge. Leah?
Yes, it is. Just one of the things that you had talked about was you didn't realize you weren't getting good sleep. We run across that so often, not just with sleep, with, when you wake up, you're ready to get up and move and not groggy. People don't realize things that start to change. So I love that you mentioned that, Andrea, and thank you so much for sharing your amazing story. Laura, do you have any other questions for her?
You know what I do? Andrea, how old are you?
I'm 49. I'll be 50 in January.
Oh my God, I had no idea. Like, I'm thinking you're in your late 30s. Okay. So I have a question because I'm looking at my notes here, and so many of us associate memory issues with an older genre of people. And that's one of the things that you wrote about. that your memory has improved. How has your memory improved? Like, what have you, tell us what's going on really quickly and what you noticed.
Well, most of my life, I've always struggled like with reading. I love to read, but I'll have to like read a few pages a few times before I can just like get it in there, you know? And I actually was born with I guess it was a learning disability. And I really struggled in school, but now I'm just like, I can retain it. Like I can read it and just
Wow.
remember it. If someone tells me something, like I can remember it, you know, right away. Like, you know, some people might have no problem with that, but I, you know, have to understand I struggled with that, remembering things. And now it's like, when, I mean, just like even dates, like I struggled in school with like dates, like a lot of
Right.
things that you study is about, you know, dates in history. I took political science. You have to learn, you have to know all this stuff, you know.
How long were you on the patches before you really started to see that difference?
I would say a year. That's when I
Wow.
noticed it,
I love
because
that.
remember when we were at conference, we were sitting around and everyone came up and they introduced themselves and I went around the table and named everyone's name like within a minute.
Yeah, that was pretty impressive because I can't even do that. Well, we appreciate you for coming on and volunteering your experience. And we do want you to come back and we want you to show you the other pictures. And thank you so, so much.
Sure.
Yes.
Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was amazing. So we've got one more amazing testimony for you guys. It is the beautiful Jodie Gravely, and I've had the pleasure of meeting her a year ago as well. And you guys, I'm gonna let Jodie tell you her story, but Jodie did professional bodybuilding, and not so much in her younger years when you would think people in their 20s and 30s are doing it. But let's welcome Miss Jodie Gravely, girl. And I know you want to jump right in and just share, because you're one of those that just can't keep your mouth shut about it, right?
This is true. And I love Andrea's story. Like, oh my gosh, I've been more excited about that all day than anything, because that's huge changes.
Mhm.
And
Huge
thank
changes.
that a lot of people deal with things like that, you know. So anyway, thank you, Andrea, for sharing. That was great. Yeah, my winning a bodybuilding contest at age 59 is my claim to fame. And that was 5 years ago. So I'm 64. I was introduced to these patches about a year ago by my friend Alicia Waters. And we were just talking on the phone one day, and she was, you know, we're just talking about life and different things. And she said, but on a good note, she said, my cancer's better. And I'm like, what? Because she had been battling, you know, lymphoma for about 7 years, and told me that she had gone for a CT scan and gotten the best CT scan she'd had in 7 years. And I said, well, what did you change? And she said, nothing. I just started using these patches. I swear, that's all. And I'm like, okay, maybe I should look into this, because I had heard about it, but, you know, it just wasn't the right time. And I was just skeptical. My husband and I are just really into, you know, nutrition and good supplements and things like that. And so when she told me that, it really got my attention. And I said, well, do you think it would help with my carpal tunnel? Because I own my own cleaning business, and I'd had carpal tunnel for about 1.5 years. And for about 6 months, I probably hadn't slept at night, hardly at all, even with braces on. And she said, sure, I think it would. It's worth giving it a try. And so me and my husband decided to try them together. He had a little issue, which I think he might come on next week and talk about. Actually, it was a big issue. Wasn't really a little issue, but, you know, other than those two things, we thought we were super healthy, you know, especially to be in our almost mid 60s and, you know, work circles around people. And so anyway, we ordered them, we tried them. And I would say the first few days, I started sleeping better. My hands weren't keeping me awake at night. I was wearing my gloves, but they weren't keeping me awake. So I knew the inflammation was coming down. After about a week, I noticed a real difference in my thumbs and the inflammation in my thumbs. I was able to pick up, you know, bags and throw over my shoulders and things. And that was pretty exciting. I hadn't done that probably 1 year or two, because my thumbs always hurt so much. And then in about 3 weeks, we both had huge advances, I'll say. My carpal tunnel was probably 75% better in 3 weeks. And I was just blown away. I could wake up in the morning and make a fist. And usually it would take me about 30 minutes for the inflammation to go down and drink water and be able to make a fist. And I used to, when I would sit down after dinner at night on the sofa, my hands would start swelling about 7:30 in the evening. And that quit happening. And it was just an epiphany. And then he had a huge good thing happen to him at 3 weeks. And we just looked at each other and we're like, holy cow, we are really on to something life-changing here. And so, we just went all in and started using some other patches. We were doing the X39 Aeon. That's what I was doing originally. He started with X39, X49 Aeon and glutathione, I think. But just kept doing it. And, just noticed all of a sudden I'm sleeping better than I've slept in 40 years. I've always been a light sleeper. And all of a sudden I might look at the clock once rather than every hour. And that was huge. At about 4 months, I heard somebody else's testimony about their irregular heartbeat going away. So I don't know if it was tachycardia or AFib, but I had that for about 10 years or maybe more. And I never went to the doctor because I didn't feel bad. Like I wasn't tired, everything else seemed fine. But at night I could tell I had an irregular heartbeat. About every fourth beat, it skipped a beat. And so when I heard somebody's testimony, I was like, oh, wait a minute. I hadn't paid attention to that lately. And so the next night when I laid down to go to sleep, sure enough, that had corrected itself. And my heart just beat normally. And so that was huge. And then probably about 8 months in, I just started looking in the mirror going, dang, your skin looks wonderful. I mean, if you notice it yourself, it's huge, because we're so hard on ourselves. But I had been doing Alavida, for a few months. And all of a sudden I was like, oh my gosh, this does not look like the skin of a 64-year-old woman. It just doesn't, And then we made a big move from state to state in October. And I'll let Dr. Stan talk about that whole move was just a miraculous thing. And if we hadn't had the patches, I don't know what we'd have done. But so anyway, I saw him after we moved using the massage gun on his shoulders. And it just dawned on me that I used to use that massage gun every night when I came home from work on my shoulders and my lower back. And I don't think I have used it since April. And that was just another epiphany, like, oh my gosh, I don't have those aches and pains that I used to have.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Yep.
That is amazing. And, that's something we meet people every day that live with pain.
Yep.
Of some sort, of some degree of pain. And, when you get that relief and when you see other people getting relief, it's just like, wow. That makes me happy for you that, you've got your livelihood back and you don't have to live in pain.
Yep, it's awesome. And I will say that at about 6 weeks, all of a sudden for about 2 or 3 days, my hands hurt like the dickens, as we say down here in the South. And I knew from listening to podcasts that was just a retracing or a deeper healing in my hands. And so I didn't worry about it. Just kept patching, drinking my water. After 2 or 3 days, my hands were even better. And that happened again at probably about 3 or 4 months for a few days. And then the really strange thing happened at about 8 months. All my life, if I ever got the flu or got sick, like even as a child, my hips and legs would ache. Different people have different symptoms when things like that hit them. Some people it's headaches and some people it's nausea, whatever. That was always my symptom. And if my husband, Dr. Stan, and I do a detox or juice cleanse or something, sometimes he'll get a little headachy, but I always have hip and leg pain. That's just I don't know, it's my detox symptoms. So I guess it means there's something out of balance there. But it hadn't hurt in a long, long time. And all of a sudden, about 8 or 9 months in, my hips and legs started hurting really, really bad. And it was about 4 days in before I realized what was going on. I was having a retracing of something that I really didn't even think was much of a problem, if that makes sense. But, you know, once I realized that's what was going on, I quit worrying about it. After about the 5th day, it went away, and then I hadn't had it anymore. But I know that's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Things
Wow.
were healing on a deeper level.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happens. You know, you
Yep.
guys, that is very a normal thing to happen, but it doesn't happen for everybody. We're all different, right?
Yeah.
You know, old cells are sloughing off with new tissue, which we'll get into in a minute. And so it's, you know, Jodie, I'm sitting here listening to you, and I know Leah is probably thinking the exact same thing. You know, you've checked in with us every few months and let us know how you're doing. And every time you're here, there is just a dramatic difference in your demeanor and your livelihood and your face and the lightness, and you just look happy.
It's awesome.
You look fulfilled. You
Yeah.
look like, you know, because like Leah, like you were saying, when you don't sleep and you don't have pain, those things, y'all have heard me say, I'll kill somebody if I don't sleep. I mean, just get out of my path. It's just not pretty, right? I got to sleep. And I know all of us think like that. We got to sleep. But
Yeah.
pain is so debilitating and can control our lives. And you're a very active woman. I mean, you had before and still now, you had a very thriving cleaning business.
Yeah.
That's really hard on your body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Well, so
sleep is
because-
important.
Yeah.
Sleep
I
is
was-
so important for our bodies. I hear people go, oh, I only need 2 or 3 hours of sleep. No, you don't. Your body repairs and rejuvenates while you sleep.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So yeah.
Wow.
Well, thank you so much, Jodie, for sharing. And I know we're gonna be on your journey with you. So we definitely will have you back, and maybe Dr. Stan will be on next week, because he's always a lot of fun too.
Yeah. So thank you, ladies, so much. Y'all are a dream. Thank you for sharing. I know everybody's enjoyed it. People are texting me, asking questions. So thank you. So how is this possible? How did Andrea and Jodie get the results that they got? All's in different timing. They all did a little different things, all experienced all different things. And what it is why you're here today is the X39 stem cell activation patch. Okay. But you're asking yourself, how can something the size of a quarter? Now, you guys, I use this one a lot. Okay. This is it. And see, it's very sticky because I use it all the time. But this is it. This is all it is. And this is what these ladies are talking about today. But how does it work? Because if it's a non-transdermal patch, meaning that nothing is going in the skin, nothing. So if you happen to be on medications, supplements, there's no problem there because there is nothing entering the body. But then, Laura, how does it work? How can that be possible? Right? Because we're all used to transdermal patches that have a chemical or herb or a substance on there that is going through the dermis of the skin, penetrating the body and taking care of maybe hormone imbalance, weight loss, pain, right? But this is different. And as you'll notice in the center of this patch, there's a little white dot about this, a little bit bigger than the size of a dime. Okay. And on that little piece of gauze that sits in there is a proprietary blend of organic amino acids, sugars, water, oxygen, crystals. Okay. But when they form and they come together and make a crystal lattice or form a crystal lattice, and this crystal lattice becomes reflective. Okay. And when you take this, like you heard both of these ladies say, either put it on the back of their neck or below their belly button, or any place will do, what starts to happen is a communication between the patch and the body. And the reason that takes place is because our bodies are low-level infrared light. We're heat, we're energy. So we are starting a communication, or the fancy word for it is a biophoto exchange, okay, fancy word for communication. But when that communication starts to take place, we start to elevate the GHK copper peptide in our body. And when we elevate that peptide, we are now asking the body to start activating its own personal stem cells again, whether we're waking up the dormant or whether we're creating new pluripotent stem cells. You know, you guys, all of us as infants are born with an abundant amount of stem cells. By the time we're 30, 35, and all of us remember 30, 35 in the mirror, right? The first thing that we started noticing, maybe the fine lines or how was this happening? You know, you heard these ladies talk today, I'm not sleeping as well. Jodie said, I haven't slept that good in 40 years. Well, if we look at the timeline of that, she was facing about halfway through. By the time we're 60, there might be about 10% that are showing up in the bloodstream. And all of that is dependent on lifestyle, okay? That's dependent on how have you been taking care of your body, right? You know, when we all look back, how many times have you seen an 8 or a 10-year-old walking around with gray hair, back pain, and cardiovascular disease? Never. Y'all have heard Dr. Stacy say all the time, and I'm repeating it because it cracks me up every time she says it. Little Johnny falls off his bike, breaks his collarbone, he jumps up, he takes off, he hasn't missed a beat. Grandma falls down, she's not getting up. And the reason she's not getting up is because the body over time has started to deplete in the GHK, CU, as well as stem cells, right? You know, the minute you start using this patch, within 14 seconds, you start to upregulate anywhere between 4,000 to 6,000 genes to a healthier, younger expression, right? So literally what we're doing is taking new tissue, placing it over old tissue and making that tissue new again. So whether it's lack of sleep, pain, maybe a sense of well-being, those are the things you might notice in the first 1 to 7 days. I mean, you heard Andrea, up to a year. Can you imagine had she stopped before that year mark, she would not have gotten that benefit of retaining information better than she ever had before when she read, or you know, somebody telling her something and she actually remembered it. You know, I'm really glad you shared that, Andrea, because for me growing up, I really suffered with that a lot. And back then, you know, people really, you know, you just can't comprehend anything. That's it. You know, that's what we were told. That's what my parents were told. And we just kind of went with it. But now you have the ability to use something, you know, that's going to give you the clarity, right? The energy, the stamina, the ability to live a life of repair, rejuvenation, and regeneration. And since Dr. Stan is going to be joining us next week, I'm not going to use this tagline because I know he's going to want to use that. And I want you to hear it from him. But you guys, this is an incredible product. I love it. I've been using it for 18 months. I'll never not use it. And the reason being is because every 6 months on this patch, every 6 months, the body reverses its cellular age by 8 years. 8, every 6 months. So those of you who have been on it, think about what your age is right now. Every 6 weeks, the entire vascular system becomes 8 weeks younger, or you could say gains 2 more months of longevity. It's the same thing, right? It's just in how you interpret it or you want to say it. So what I would love for you to do is, if you want more information, if you want to get nitty gritty, if you want to hear from our CEO, founder, scientist, inventor of this incredible product, David Schmidt, I want you to go to startx39now.com. And you'll not only learn a little bit more about the company, but you're going to see again exactly how this works. You're going to see the clinical studies that are back there, over 90 clinical studies. We have 130 patents on our products, on our patches. 70 of those patents are just in regenerative medicine alone. So would I love to sit here with you and go into all that? I would love to, but I know a lot of people like to dig in and read. Okay, I'm going to have David, if he doesn't mind, put another website up here for you that's going to give you a little bit of information about GHK copper peptide, which is reverse aging with GHK.com. great website. But what I'd love for you to do as well is get back with the person that invited you here today. They obviously care about you. You see what it's done for these people. All of us that have been using it for a while probably have similar or different testimonies. And let them help you decide how to get you started. There's various of ways. You have an opportunity to buy this product retail. You have the ability to buy this product as a preferred customer, but I will be totally honest with you, and the majority of my clients, as well as many here, love to opt in for one of our wholesale packages because it gives them the ability to get more patches for less. And as you heard today, Andrea, Jodie, they added some things: Aeon for inflammation, Alavida for the skin. Maybe that spoke to you a little bit today, but let them decide and help you the best way for you. And then I would love nothing more for you to join us in 60 to 90 days and start sharing your experience with this life-changing technology. And always remember, we are here Monday through Friday. Monday through Thursday, you'll hear testimonies at 9:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as well as this time on every Friday at 4:00 Eastern Standard Time. David, sir, is there
Hello.
something special that we should know about tomorrow?
No, it's the normal
Okay,
place at 1:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You
perfect,
have a choice of Onyx or our group.
perfect.
The other thing I need to mention is that that reverse aging site is not safe. Something's wrong with it. and
Something's
so
wrong with it?
We
Okay.
cannot send people to there, so.
Okay, we're
Try
not,
to
no
get it
one
out.
go there. Thank you for that.
You're
And I
welcome.
want to shout out David because he's always here helping us, keeping us in line, putting things in the chat for us. So Leah, do you want to close us out, love?
I would love to. I do want to add for our brand partners that tune in with us tomorrow on our Saturday training, we do have a special guest tomorrow. Garrett Johnson from corporate will be on the call tomorrow. So
Perfect.
I'm sure everyone received that. So again, you guys, thanks for being here with us and for being open to looking at this amazing, life-changing technology. We are here to share and get you whatever information you need to help you make the best decision for you and for your family. So have an amazing weekend, everyone. And Laura, have an amazing weekend to you
I
as
love
well.
doing these with you.
They're so
Love
fun,
'em.
so fun. And
All
thank
right.
you, David. You're always so amazing.
That
Bye,
all of our
everybody.
patches are approved by the FDA under the
Oh,
direction of general wellness, which is right there.
oh, thank you.
So,
Yes. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Have a great weekend. Thank you.